Oh, nice. Second I turn it on, it literally falls over. That's perfect. Exactly what I want to do. So super quick, I'm heading to bed in a few minutes. It's literally 1:20 in the morning. And I want to shoot a quick video about a conversation that I just had about throwing good money after bad. Now, I'm not talking about actually finances. I'm talking about a metaphor for relationships, for a job, business that you're going into, anything that you have invested somewhat of yourself. So what I find that happens a lot is that people who are not fully conscious, or they're not awake and in the present, they're typically following a script. And what happens is that they will follow either what society has told them that they need to do: get the girl, get married, have the kids, get the white picket fence, whatever, or go to school, get the diploma, go to college, get the degree, go to get the job, move up the corporate ladder, What I find is that a lot of people will do what's called throwing good money after bad. So I'll put it like this. Let's take a relationship, because this was the conversation that I just had. If you take a relationship, a lot of people are in relationships because they're comfortable, because essentially they have invested so much of their time, so much of who they are, that they stick around in these relationships that they're completely not congruent with. They have completely grown apart from the partner. They have not acted like a team. They are not evenly yoked, and it's not the person that they want to be with. But because they've been with them for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, however many years that they're with this person, they stay. So I'll put it like this. Let's say you go on a date with somebody, and it's your very first date, and that person's a dick or a bitch or whatever, and you have a bad experience with that person. You never talk to that person again, and it's not going to be a problem. You're not invested. But if you go out with somebody who slowly over time, you guys get less and less and less congruent with one another, and then eventually things are boring. You guys aren't doing things that are exciting. The stuff that attracted you to the person in the first place is no longer attracting you to them, because they've just gotten complacent. They don't do anything. You find that they're not the person that you actually want to be with, but the amount of time that you have invested in this person keeps you around. Same thing with jobs. There is no shortage of people who are absolutely asleep, and they just do what their parents told them to do, or they do what the school told them to do, and they graduate from school and they go to college and just take a bunch of courses, and they have something fall on their lap, and so they pursue that. And then they end up getting the degree there, and then they need to get the bachelor's as opposed to the associates, or maybe the master's, or they just keep going down this path, and then they get a job that they're not passionate about. They could care less about what they're doing. But there's this promise that, oh, well, if I put in this much, I'm going to get this much money back. I'm going to be able to, make money as a manager, or make money as a director, or whatever it is, moving up the corporate ladder, right? But it's never something that they actually want to do. But because they've invested so much of themselves, and they have continued down this path of just constantly putting in time, putting in effort, making sacrifices, doing whatever, people get stuck going down this bad path. What that bad path is called is throwing good money after bad. So as an investor, which I invest in different things, one of the things I will never forget is a stock that I lost $38,000 in. I lost that when I was, I think I was 21 years old. This stock, I fell in love with it. And the reason that I'm tying this all together metaphorically is that I had this conversation with this girl tonight who's in a relationship, and it's not the relationship she wants to be in, but she's spent 5 years with him, and she keeps saying, well, it's give it another year, we'll see what happens. Give it another year. Well, he doesn't have any drive. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. He's not what she's looking for. But she'll probably stick around for another few years, something like that. This stock that I invested in, I fell in love with. I got really invested, really emotionally invested with this stock. I put everything that I had when I was 21, 22 years old. I put everything that I had into this stock. The stock was CGAQ.PK. It was the pink sheets, and that's extremely dumb what I did, especially if you know what the pink sheets are. But, I'd made like $2,000 in 20 minutes, and then from there it tanked, and it just kept going down. And When I say it kept going down, it kept going down over like 8 months. So I was investing in the stock for 8 months, and the more money I would get from my job, the more money I would put in. And as that sinking ship just kept going down, I kept putting in more, kept putting in more, kept putting in more. More good money after bad money that basically had continued to go down, and throwing good money in there to average down, just keep averaging down, creating a lower and lower and lower baseline. Well, that's what people do in relationships. And eventually that stock, I don't even think it exists anymore. I looked it up the other day. I couldn't really find it. It was Caribbean Casino and Gaming Corporation, Caribbean Gaming and Casino Corporation. I don't remember. CGAQ. That's what people do. They keep averaging down in a way in relationships. So they keep averaging down in the job. They lower the baseline over and over and over, going down. Of where will be the break-even point? Well, if they just do this, I'll be happy. Well, okay, that's not happening. Well, if it's just this, I'll be happy. And it's like the backwards frog effect of heating up. If you heat up a frog slowly, it doesn't jump out of the pot. But if you throw it in boiling water, of course it jumps out. That's what we as humans do. We establish lower and lower and lower baselines of what we find acceptable for our lives. And the only way that happens is when you are complacent and when you are asleep and you're not fully conscious and you're not fully in the present moment and really thinking and realizing this is your life. The people that you surround yourself with, the job that you have, the things that you are doing in your life, you have complete control over it. When you're driving and you've got the steering wheel in front of you, shut off the music, look down, and look at your hand. Look at your arm, moving the steering wheel. Look at as you shift. Look at the cars around you. Look at the cockpit, right, of the car of which you're driving. You have control over all that. You have control if you keep the wheel like this or if you turn it like this. And a very small turn branches out and creates a major difference in where you're going in that car, right? Same thing in your life. By her continuing to stay involved with this guy, she's going to continue to get exactly what she's gotten. She's going to be frustrated. She's going to be, bummed out. She's going to be stuck. You have to be evenly yoked with somebody. You have to be going at the same pace or at least close. You have to complement each other. When you're in a relationship, you're either growing together or you're growing apart, or one person's growing and one person's holding them back. So unless you have somebody who is evenly matched with you, stop throwing good money after bad, because typically what happens with a sinking ship, it keeps sinking. Typically what happens with a job, occupation that you're not happy in, as you move up the corporate ladder, more money does not make a job that you're not happy with better. It would be much better to have a job that doesn't make you as much money, but you go home with a satisfied feeling at the end of the day. And a lot of people out there, and I see it all over the place, they just throw good money after bad. Because they've invested so much for so long, they just keep going. They keep going down the path, and they lower their standards, and they lower their standards more and more and more. And eventually they get to the point where they have these midlife crises. They wake up and they're like, shit, how did I get here? Well, you got there because you were asleep the whole time. And you wake up finally to a fucking nightmare. And that's how people end up with kids, with all people that they don't want to be with because they thought the kid would fix the relationship, or they end up in mortgages that they can't afford because that's what they thought they were supposed to do. Wake up. You got to think for yourself. You got to, if that's what you want, do it, but let it be something that you want. Live your life, with passion. Live your life, doing things that you want to do. Be weird. Think for yourself. Be unique. There's everybody wants to, be themselves. But if you look, most people are just like everybody else out there. Be unique. When you think for yourself and you do things, that are congruent with who you truly are inside, that's how you live a fulfilling life. And if you're in sinking ships, whether it's your occupation or it's your relationships, or in any area of your life that you have a sinking ship that you can easily identify if you really got away from the numbing effect of, you know, going home every night and like watching TV or whatever it is that you're numbing, you know, if you drink a lot or whatever it is that you're doing to numb the fact that you are not happy with your life, if you get away from that and you take a good look around, it's probably not too late. You could probably turn things around. But the same way that I chase that stock down, people typically chase their lives down in directions that they don't want to go. So this was just fresh in my mind. I just had this this whole conversation with her in the last like 2 hours. It's like 1:30 now in the morning. So anyways, I gotta get up early in the morning, so thanks for watching. And I don't know, I mean, if you got a sinking ship in your life, get off the fucking ship, swim to shore, and refigure out what it is that you actually want and build your life from there. You know, just because you invested 5, 6, 7 years into something that is not right for you doesn't mean you don't have your whole life ahead of you to get exactly what it is that you actually want. If you like this kind of stuff, leave a like, really appreciate it. Comment, let me know if there's any sinking ships in your life that you got to get away from, or you know, what you thought of the video. Yeah, share it with somebody who needs to hear what it says. Anyways, have a good night. Bye.